Well, it's just before 6 a.m. on Saturday. Dreaded day, dreaded flight to a pouring rain freehold. But you know what? I was trying to figure out a way not to go, to be honest. But what are you going to do? We all make commitments, and I certainly make enough to the stable.ca, and I want to make sure that things run smoothly. And if I thought that there was no problem with Bomb Hugger racing out of the 7-hole for a new trainer and a new driver on a half-mile track, I wouldn't go. But, as I said, this is my job. I love my job, and, as much as I don't like driving in the rain and don't like waking up at 6 o'clock to go wait in lineups to go and race, it's not the end of the world. I'll tell you that right now. I was going to do my opening today. I was going to do a number of things today, and then I realized one of the best parts of the entire year is happening tomorrow. One of the best parts of the entire year, of the entire stable, happens tomorrow. I love the yearling sales, but that's a different aspect of the stable. Open house day. That was a stable. That was us. That was the biggest thing of the year, and we lost that when we went through the pandemic. Everybody lost a little bit or a lot, and we certainly did. And this was one of the major components of the stable that we lost. So I wanted to get that back, and I think most of my opening this week will have tones and undertones of what went on Sunday. But we still have lots to talk about. So I want to get to the rest of the stuff. As rainy as it's going to be in New Jersey today, it is going to be sunny in Ontario. Goodness. Got my earphones for the phone, or for the plane. Okay, we're going to start with the aged horses today. We're starting with the aged horses. Now, a very important hello to our newest aged horse. His name is Per Lucky. We purchased him from the Ron Burke stable last week. Should be a very good pickup for the stable. Somebody asked me the other day, why Per Lucky? Why would you need another aged horse? Guys, you have to understand this, and I can't be any more clear. You can't just go out and buy good horses at fair market value, right? We went out and bought Patrick the Piranha for the Open when it was a little weak. Didn't work out yet. Still a nice horse, but we paid a premium, right? Paid $141,000 US for him. Doesn't always work out that way. We get lucky sometimes. LD's Patrick was $19,000. And you're about to see next week, I believe, the Levitor that I saw in his first start come back to life. He was awesome last night. There's a horse we paid $17,000 for. But make no mistake, that's not just the way to go. You have to look at a number of ways to accumulate horses. Fair market value is a good start. And Per Lucky, to buy a trotter that won the Open at Miami Valley 4 weeks ago. Won the Open at the Meadows, and these are all at short odds. These are, oh my God, he got lucky. He was supposed to win the Open at the Meadows and did 2 weeks ago. Compete in the Open last week. But nevertheless, a hardcore Open trotter. Now, we got him at fair market value because he's a 7-year-old. He's coming from Ron Burke's barn, and the summer's starting. The shifts and trends that are in horse racing are very evident. If you watch the sales closely, the way that horses sell, the way that people buy them, both yearlings and aged horses or 2-year-olds, the trends are evident. And now that stakes season is starting, people are shifting away from buying those aged horses, right? Everybody wants aged horses in the fall and the winter, even yearling barns, 2-year-old barns. Everybody wants that continuity where, well, we got to pay a lot of stake payments, we got payments coming up, and we don't have any horses to watch race all winter. We need an aged horse. Now you've shifted away from that. For babies are coming, they're almost here, and then when you get a barn like Ron Burke, it's like, okay, We're going to have starting fees all summer, major starting fees. We're going to have stake payments still this month. We're going to have, these people run a business, and they're moving probably 15, and Mark Weaver told me 25 horses. So our ability to take a look at what that horse is worth, and I priced him for you, which I rarely do. I priced him for you the night before. Fair market value is 70 to 75. When I originally spoke to Mark Weaver and the owners of the horse, they believed he'd bring 6 figures. Sure they would. And I wasn't trying to lowball him, say, I'll give you a 55. Never said a word. I just said, I don't think he'll bring that. But when I did the video to everybody the night before, what did I tell you? 70 to 75,000. That's what I thought he was worth. Anyway, enough blabbering. We're going to start with an Amazon Dragon. That's Brenda's horse. Amazon Dragon is going to be, I guess, ready soon at some point. What we do with the Dragon will be up to Brenda and Harry and myself. As I said to Brenda, and I always do, and yeah, Brenda's a good sort. Just get over being a little sick, lost her voice. I was joking with her about it. She's a lady you're going to hear at the racetrack when her horse is racing. Loves her horses, loves her racing, and quite frankly, an all-around straight shooter, but a good person. So Amazon Dragon will be ready to go. I suspect in a few weeks it'll be ready. Adrenaline Rush. I don't know how to describe the entirety of the situation with Adrenaline Rush. We thought getting him back from that broken leg was going to be cool, right? It's going to be a great story for the stable. It's going to be great for the horse. It's going to be great for the clients. It's hung in there with them. And then we ended up finding there was a secondary issue. It had nothing to do with his leg. The horse had an abscess in his abdomen, and it was messy. And it's been treated and treated and treated. We have him back lightly jogging, but all that time we put into him is pretty much gone. Now we're going to start back again with him. And it's, I really hope that we look back on this someday and say, remember that time. Historically speaking, Adrenaline Rush has been a very ordinary horse the last year or so. But again, we're the stewards of these animals too, and we have to do what's right for them. And Adrenaline Rush, he's pushing us, that's for sure. And we're pushing for him. I hope he makes it back good. And, as I said, turns out to be a nice horse for us. Bolt Power. This is the time of year when you start seeing big miles from horses that didn't make any money. And we really have to pay attention to where we're racing. Bolt Power is a perfect example. Harry's probably going to have to traverse, navigate the B tracks and the big track at the same time. Bolt Power's up in a class now where, just food for thought. He finished 9th. He finished last. Now, he was close. It wasn't like he get beat up. But he was 9th, paced 51 and a piece last quarter and 26 and 1, and finished last. So, people might say, that's just a bad week. Nah, at some point, if that persists, that borders on bad management, right? The horse is going to race forever. He's not going to give you 50 starts a year. So, the ones that you get, which are for a horse his speed, his caliber, with some old aches and pains, probably 25 starts, maybe 28. Don't waste them. So, can he do in that class? We'll probably have to test the waters again a couple more times with him, but at some point we'll probably head over to the B tracks and, quite frankly, have a discussion with Brenda also and say, hey, there may be a better jurisdiction for this horse for the summer. Maybe this horse would race really good in Scioto. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I haven't really investigated it all. But we have the ability to move all these horses around so that they fit, right? There is a large puzzle in North America, and each one of these horses represent a piece, and every piece fits in somewhere. Sometimes it's in a different place, but it fits in somewhere. And a horse like Bolt Power that can pace 51 come 26 seconds, I can assure you there's a spot for him somewhere. You don't want to be tied into Mohawk, because this track right here will turn into what it is, one of the toughest jurisdictions in North America, and it will chew you up if you think you can just roll in there every week, right? And that's you have to be cognizant of that. Brave World gave him a week off, drew the outside. This is an old horse. You can't just beat him up, and race. He's going to need some time off, and the best time to give him a week off would be after he drew the 10-hole, left and kind of got spit out the back end, finishing up. He's a mid-level condition horse that's always done us some good, to be honest, to be quite frank, and we'll find a spot for Brave World again, another horse where I can tell you one thing, when Georgian Downs opens, probably be a great spot for Brave World. We all know he can get around a half, but he's not super handy on a half. He's just a good horse. Globetrotting's training back, looking good. As I said to Dominic, I'm in no rush. None at all. And I don't think my partners are. We want to see the Globetrotting that went in 52 twice. Once with and once without hobbles. We want to see that Globetrotting. Where's she at? She's there. She's training back well, but take your time. Make sure she's ready to roll when we push the button with her. High Gear No Fear. A little sick last night. Red Airway. A lot of the same scopes coming back. It all started last week with Blue Bayou Dio when she was third, but raced okay. We scoped her. Little redness, little mucus. Just that type of year stuff, Anthony. Is what how it was portrayed to me. Then we drew blood on her 3 or 4 days later. White count was a little elevated. Lymphocytes, monocytes were a little elevated. Some weird readings on the other side of the sheet. Nothing terribly concerning, but odd. Then she gets sick. Then she was sick for 3 days. Now she's almost over it. She looks good now, but was sick. Raced Will to win Hanover. James said filly was flat. Look at her line. 56-1, 27-3 on the end of it. Listen, James, horse race great, but James is sitting behind her. Drew her blood. Now it's important to say that Blue Bayou, we drew her blood twice last week. First time, those bloods all look similar, right? Blue Bayou Dio, Will to win Hanover, Sailor. I can assure you, High Gear No Fear looks similar to that. Then about 3 days later, they got sick, and then about 3 days after that, we drew blood on Blue Bayou Dio again. Now we saw her white count jump a little bit. That's the end. We caught all these horses at the start of this little virus, not major. They don't come off their feed, no real high temperatures, no massive discharge of mucus, just little stuff, but we caught it at the start. I think we saw it with Sailor last week, and Blue Bayou Dio, even though she raced good, it was there, it was present. Then we saw it with Will to win Hanover. I didn't see it, you might have saw it, but James did. Then we saw it again last night with High Gear No Fear. It's going to manifest itself a little bit differently for every horse, but it's eerily similar, the blood work, how it progressed for all of them. So I suspect that's what we're seeing here. Now the kicker is we don't really see it until it's at top speed. We can't put every horse under a microscope, so we really just have to take a real hard, solid look at every horse. Now, I hope everybody has luck. Resolute Bay is right across the hallway from High Gear No Fear. But remember also, he was sick also, so he's coming back, he's sharp. And his sickness was a little bit different. He had a high temp, some mucus. He's fine now, obviously. The horse raced great his last start, so good luck to everybody tonight with our boy, Resolute Bay. What else do we got here? Glare AM. She wasn't super strong yesterday. It could have been the dramatic shoeing change. Some horses now, I turned her shoes around up front. I talked to Dominic and I said, listen, this isn't working. This mare is very difficult because she was better, but I'd like to see her a little better. She's either great or horrible. There's no real in-between for her. Yesterday was as in-between as it gets. She trotted, she did her work, a little bit flat, but was safe. Every so often I like to dig it into James when I can, right? Because we're brothers, we joke around. And so, let's just say it. For those of you that are horsemen, you may have noticed, over the last 20 years, a lot of times, so if you ever watch there's head poles you can put on the horses. Some have sharper burrs. Some will have what's called a roller burr or a rolling burr. It's got two pieces usually of rubber on either end, and this solid piece of leather, circular piece of leather with rivets in it, and it can spin on a horse. It can spin on their neck. A little bit sharper because it's a little duller metal, but it's not barbaric or anything like that. It doesn't never cut them or anything, but it's a little sharper, so the horse will steer a little bit straighter. Because when horses tend to get in, they lean in, then they get hitting themselves, and they can't really get away from it. So we'll put out what's called a head pole on the horse. It'll keep their head straight. We'll employ other ways to keep them straight. You'll wear a Murphy blind on the inside of a horse, which looks like just a larger blind, and that's exactly what it is. Covers their eye a little bit, or their vision a little bit, so they stay a little straighter. Some people use a steering bar, which goes under their jaw. It can be even or uneven. I remember a long time ago, I watched a horseman wear 2 head poles on one side of a horse, and I'm always game to try something, because this game is you have to continue to learn. And as a driver, we see things at top speed. So the most important information you can get is at racing speed. I put the 2 head poles on the horse, and wow. Now, for those you may say, just a bigger pole. What happens is, especially on a smaller track, the horse will run in, and you put that big roller burr on the horse. You'll run in and kind of get away from the pole, and then when you come out of the turn into the straightaway, what will happen a lot of times is that horse will get away from the pole and end up running out worse. And sometimes that in itself, that overcorrection, can be a problem. With the 2 head poles, what I found was the horses would still lean in on the turns a little bit, very drivable, but lean in a little bit, but not get away from the poles in the same way the big roller burr. That's how I felt anyway. And as a driver also, you want to drive with the horse hung up in a way that you're comfortable and the horse is comfortable, so that you can do your best job and they can do their best job. So I wear 2 head poles on a lot of horses. Sometimes I'll take that Murphy blind, because that Murphy blind, as you can imagine, if it's here and it helps the horse from running in, it also, those horses want to expand their vision in the straightaway, and they'll run out. They'll run away from that Murphy blind. So what I did with the glare, I took the Murphy blind off. No, I put a Murphy blind on her and a head pole. She still made that break and run in. What happens is, it's not that she runs in, she's very close to her hind shins, and she has marked up her hind up on her jacks and below her jacks, very sore. She's done it her whole life. It's just indicative of, I think, the Southern Frank breed, which lots of good horses do that anyway. But you have to find a comfort zone where they're there, you can work on them, but they're not the end of the world. And Eglarium has marked hers up. So we made these shoeing changes, put egg bars on her behind, slow her down, try and widen her out, and put an aluminum shoe turned around backwards up front. Now you may say to yourself, Anthony, how would that work? Well, here, I'll tell you. LD's Patrick wears them the exact same way. That's exactly what he wears. Although it's not an aluminum shoe, Laugh Now wears them. For horses that interfere behind, we found that it helped quite a bit this winter. Those horses that were doing that, it helped. You could feel them build confidence and race better. So that's what we put on a Glare AM. Now, we also tranquilized her a little bit yesterday because she's a loon. She's a hothead. She can tie up. There's no point putting added stress on the filly when I'm just trying to see if she can trot properly. She went out of there good. I saw her try and size up the first turn. She thought about making a break, and she will. She's not one of these horses that'll fight through it. No. When push comes to shove, if things aren't really square in her mind going into that turn, she's just going to run. Well, she squared the turn up, trotted right through it, no problem. Last turn, no problem. Now, the only thing I did find was she went a mile 56 and 2. It was kind of a cold, windy, dark, gloomy day, so it was a pretty good mile, but she was a little flat. Now, was she flat because she was TQ'd? Was she flat because she's trying to trot with these shoes, and sometimes with those open-toed shoes, they will trot differently. They'll learn to go with it, like LD's Patrick has. But it is there is a transition there. Maybe she's just in that transition. I really don't know. But she went good, she was confident, she was safe, and she went a mile 56 and 2. So we'll see how she does next week. Where are we at here? Kings County raced great. He's going to slide into the non-horse of 12. I think what you're going to see is Kings County in the backup class and Per Lucky in the open. next Saturday evening, next Friday evening at Scioto Downs. Now, I told everybody I'm going away for 6 days. I know we were away to Mexico with a group of people this winter, but my wife and I rarely get to go away, just us. Rarely get to unplug from the kids, from the racing, from the work. And I can do it. You can put me in a pressure cooker all year and I'll be just fine. I am a steel cactus most times. But when it comes to my wife, she's really got to decompress, especially heading into what we're about to go through this summer, which is going to be a tornado of family life and racing intertwined and spinning all summer long. And I'm up for it. I'm okay. Want to make sure, because it's not charted territory, right? Oliver playing baseball. You guys know, if your parents out there, tournaments, practices, playing, especially when I have to be across the border. So I said, I'll take Ava with me. It'll be good for Ava to hang out, get a taste of the real world. She's 11 years old now. Don't think she'll send Addie with me, but we'll be back and forth all summer long, and I'm okay with that. But I know it's weighing on my wife's mind. So just gonna take 1 to 6 days, just her and I, just to unplug. I never unplug, but just to recharge and as I said, decompress, for her especially, heading into what will be probably, hopefully, praying, a banner year, a great year, but an extremely chaotic year for her and I. So that all begins, as you know, unofficially on Sunday with the baby, with our open house. But then after that, we got the baby schoolers. We have racing. We have horses moving around. Wednesday, 15 horses leave Tomiko Training Center and head to Northfield Park for to be under Jason's tutelage. I just thought it worked better. Obviously, you guys know that's all the Ohio breds. A few Pennsylvania breds will be heading over also. Let's keep going here. Sorry, 22 minutes for a short list. Wow. Kings County, as I said, has been racing great. He'll fit in the backup class next Friday. Can't wait to see him go. Laugh Now, as I said, schooled in 2 minutes on Lasix. Do I think he was much better? You know, I had a great conversation with Brad Shakes, who works with Tom Rankin, who had bought Laugh Now. We were talking about the little guy, and he was talking about how he got pneumonia and maybe Lasix would be a better choice for him. And that was really what put me over, was the fact that last year this horse had pneumonia. So are his lungs compromised? How much will the heat in the summer bother him? I like him, but just to say, maybe the expectations of Iglariam's schooler was a little much. She was in with Pacers, by the way, Iglariam. So it was really hard to gauge to begin with. Laugh Now went a mile in 2 minutes. He didn't want any more. Now, we were at the half and 1-1, but he didn't want any more than 2 minutes. This horse has already trotted in 57, so it was windy. It wasn't a tornado, but it was windy and it was cold. I'll tell you, I had a summer training suit on, and after I warmed one up, I went back in the paddock and got another turtleneck, a second turtleneck for underneath my summer suit. So that's how cold it was. It wasn't frigid, but it was chilly and it was windy. So a decent mile from Iglariam, a decent mile from Laugh Now. He'll be in to go next Thursday at Mohawk. LD's Patrick, man, I was just so proud of this horse. If you guys go and see him, he acts cranky, pin his ears at you, but then he'll walk over and let you pet him all day long. He's just turned into a big teddy bear and a horse that you guys know, if you follow the stable, you know that we bought him to fix him, to race him, to flip him. That's kind of that was kind of my goal with LD's Patrick. But he's now turned into a horse that, who knows? Now he's moved from, I really don't know how good this horse is. He has to be tired at some point, doesn't he? We said this twice now. He was beaten when James drove him. He was a beaten third, probably getting tired. We'll race him just to confirm he's tired, and then we'll probably turn him out. Oh, he's going to go out and race the best mile of his life. Oh, okay. And that's what he did. If I don't get my wheel in behind Sylvain's the other day, if I can get the earplugs out of his ears, he wins in 54-2 easily. With that type of trip, and speed was never a problem, power was never a problem. So it would be unrealistic to not think that he could trot in 53 or better. Who knows how fast LD's Patrick can go? Bred to be a nice horse, meant to be a nice horse. Just couldn't quite get there. He's there now. And this horse looks like $1 million. Easily one of the best purchases we've made in, well, maybe since the stable opened. I can't think of a better one. The horse that we bought that just turned into such a much better horse. I can't think of one. Levitor raced last night. Man, he raced great. You know, here's another thing. Somebody had said to me a couple of months ago, is that a new aspect of the stable where you go out and buy horses that were really expensive babies that are kind of in the scratch and dent bin now and try and patch them up and polish them? I did that my whole life. That's what I did before there was a stable.ca. And not exactly to that T, mostly just overall trotters. But usually that class is in there somewhere, right? Sure, you'll run into horses that just no matter what the breeding says, no matter how much they pay for them, they're just not good horses. There are some like that. You know that. But there are some horses that have unique stories, like LD's Patrick, like Levitor. Now, I don't know the story behind Levitor's purchase for $175,000 as a yearling. I don't know where he was to train. I didn't really dive into him that bad. We bought him for $17,000 to fill a gap, just to be a horse. And if things worked out great. Well, he's worth at least twice what we paid for him now. He raced great last night. He wanted to get at them last night. And I think he, too, will start letting those hobbles out at Mohawk. He'll start getting more comfortable at Mohawk. I think you're going to see a much better horse inside there, and you're going to see him real soon. I love what I saw in Levitor last week, and I think you guys will love what you see in Levitor next week. As I said, I'm gone away, but this guy's such a sweetheart to drive. He's just the nicest horse. I think James will really like this horse next week. Locatelli, another horse that I think's been a great purchase for us. Different story. We paid a lot of money for him, but he's looked great. And I think Harry Poulton, I think at the end of the year, if you asked Harry Poulton, this year rejuvenated him. This year allowed Harry Poulton to fall back in love with horse racing. We all say to ourselves, we'd love to have Matt Scooter on the road again. But then follow that up with 20 years of trying to find another Matt Scooter on the road again. It's really difficult. It's like the guy that wins the lottery. Do you stop buying lottery tickets? You just keep going buying them. You never win the lottery again for the most part. And I think Harry felt that pressure of horse racing, the pressure that this game can bestow upon any trainer. And it's crushing. And finally just said enough's enough. But he's back now in a position where he gets to do what he loves. He gets to fall in love with horse racing again. And he certainly has a stable to do it. He's done a wonderful job all year. And Locatelli is some of that coming to fruition. Good horse that he likes, that he loves to race. And I can't wait to see Locatelli race this year also. My Mini Miracle, I love My Mini Miracle. She's turned out to be a sweetheart of a filly. Fortunately, we can't get a class for her. None of the classes are filling right now. So we put her on the online sale on Monday, the preferred online sale. It's just the way it goes. I mean, I couldn't keep My Mini Miracle, not when she was not when she's not being able to race. So as much as I like her, and I think she's going to do somebody some good because she is a nice little lower condition trotter, she can make somebody a nice horse because she's a likable horse. But we can't race her, we can't keep her. And going back, there's probably people out there saying, well, Anthony, I thought you said that you can move horses around. This time of year, when you have 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds coming back, well, definitely 3-year-olds coming back, it's a bit of a shark tank in that lower condition class too. Can't just ship her to Philadelphia and say put her in. It's going to be tough. We have to be able to find. That's the other part of that puzzle. The horses can't just move. They have to do well when they get there. And when I look at the total landscape of horse racing right now in North America, there's not a class other than a claimer. We can just put My Mini Miracle in and say, okay, away you go. It's just not going to happen. So I think My Mini Miracle, a nice mare, do somebody some good, a smaller operation, was fine for us. Just her tenure cut a bit short because of classes not going. No free lunch racing tonight. Again, another horse that's getting that top echelon. Can he do in those top level conditions at Mohawk? If he can't, we have a mountain of classes. That guy we can race anywhere. Patrick the Piranha is in to go Sunday. This is a horse I think we didn't pay the most for him ever, but as far as racehorses, we did. And I wouldn't call him a flop, but he definitely has stumbled out of the blocks. That last start before he flipped his heart was a uplifting start. To look at the line, it looked good. Would have expected a little more, but it looked okay. And then you look at, he flipped his heart. That was obviously massively concerning. And then come back with a really good qualifier. So in a lower condition on Sunday in Plain Ridge in Massachusetts. So remember, I know it's a bit of a pain in the butt to get licensed there. The commission's not open all the time, and the rules aren't clear to everybody. But Linda's doing her best. I know that Linda Henry, certainly not her job, but it's kind of morphed into her job, and thank God for her, because without her, it would be chaos at both ends of the spectrum for us, both on the track, getting to the track, and then licensing. She's been an absolute angel for the stable.ca, and if you need Linda to help you, point you in the right direction. She can't hold everybody's hand and get it done for you. We're not there yet. We don't have a licensing person per se, but Linda can get you the information on where you need to go to get licensed. So Patrick the Piranha is in to go Sunday. So is Stonebridge Simba. 2 different jurisdictions, one in Saratoga with Simba in New York, the other one in Plain Ridge in Massachusetts. But they also, I believe, are in absolutely the right place. Per Lucky, as I said, a great pickup for us, I believe. I just don't see how this ends badly for the stable. As I said to one of our partners the other day, and one of our clients, if I'm wrong on Per Lucky, which it doesn't look like I am, just look at his lines. This isn't me talking. This isn't me trying to sell the horse. The horse should sell himself. He's an open trotter, as of last week, that will race in the Open again. And even if I'm wrong, and even if Per Lucky is sliding a bit, which he doesn't appear to be, he's still worth the money. So Per Lucky will race next Friday evening at Scioto Downs. Sailor, as I said, was the first horse to get sick. His liver count and Billy Rubin are still high. And an additional feature of annoyance this week, our veterinarian in Ohio had said, hey, you can get these therapeutic drugs, these all natural medications, these pills for livers for humans that'll work well on horses. Order them. We've been using them. They work fantastic. The only thing I've seen that can drive these liver counts down was this medication. It was just, you can buy it on Amazon. There's nothing medical in it. It's all natural. There's like a back order. I ordered like 12 boxes of it for Ohio and Ontario. They didn't show up in Ohio. So I said, maybe I ordered more for Ontario. Still haven't been shipped. So now we're getting dangerously low on these pills, and horses that need them. So it's may have to go and look and see if I can buy it just off the shelf, I guess, in Shoppers Drug Mart, or I guess what you would call your Walgreens or some health food store. I don't know. But Sailor needs it. His liver was a little high. Now, you can get stuff at the tax shops like liver flush and stuff like that, but it doesn't really seem to work. These, I forget what it's called, the name on the box, but the liver pills man, they work really, really well. Stay close. Fixed his feet up yesterday. We'll school him on Lasix on Monday and see how he feels. I apologize. I think there was a break in communication with this guy. He bled a little bit in his last start, but it was suspicious in the sense that Jason said he had trained him hard leading up to his race. And I wonder if there wasn't a little bit of bleeding there. That's why we try to scope them after we train them hard, but the vet wasn't there and he couldn't get back in time before the horse shipped the next day. So he shipped without us actually knowing. Then we raced him and there was a little bit of blood found, but quarter crack, that added stress from the pain of that foot. Did that play a role? Where are we going here? Car rental at Rivals. Ground, so car rental return. No, departures. There we go. So I want to school him Monday, see how he feels. So stay close with school on Monday. And next step with him will be very soon. Stonebridge Simba is in to go Sunday at Saratoga. I expect him to come to life real soon. Walk on the Moon is in today at the Meadows. 5-1 morning line. Much better. White Tiger and Yes, well, no, they're not the same. White Tiger hasn't begun training yet, just jogging. And Yes has made a second qualifier. Jason again qualified him himself, 157 by 7 or 8 lengths. He said the track was deep. It was a big mile. So great news on the front of Yes. We now have 2 open trotters in Ohio. One will race in Scioto, one will race at Northfield Park this week. So I apologize. 35 minutes for a short list. Wow. It's long even for me. Express Park. Am I gone 3 hours or maximum? No. Over here, over 3 hours. So that's it for me. Big day. As you can see, I'm getting to the airport. We're going to go race our girl, Bomb Hugger. I wish to God it was a nice sunny day, but instead it's going to be pouring rain. So you can take these off. It's going to be pouring rain in Freehold, but you know what? Can't always be perfect. So we can just hope for a good race and a good result for our girl. Big start to the year, the Lady Suffolk Stakes here today in Freehold. So with that, I'll let you go. As I said, I'm at the airport. Going to get going. And I will talk to you all very, very soon. Take care.